So still in lockdown, and this week I thought we'd look at 3 late flowering magnolias which are gorgeously scented. And the first one is Magnolia Sibylla. And Sieboldii has a number of characteristics which are unique to it as a species, and its flowers are held at right angles to the branch. They don't hang down, they sort of look at you. And the center of the flower has these gorgeous pink surround, which is the collection of anthers which surround what will become the seed, which will turn the same color as the anthers in the autumn. Now, Magnolia Sibylla is not a plant that comes out all at once. If you look through the tree, you can see that there are lots of buds here, and there are some flowers that are already open. And it will go on flowering with the odd flower right through until August. And by the end of August, the seed pods, which you see actually beginning to show up here on the older flowers, the seed pod there is beginning to develop, and they will turn a lovely orange and then purple color, and then the orange seeds will start to pop out, and then that's the time when you collect them and grow them. It's not a big tree, it's a spreading shrub. It grows very horizontally. 1 or 2 leaders start to go up, but basically it's a good species for a small garden, and unlike many magnolias, it flowers on and on and on through the summer months. This is our second magnolia for today, and this one has the most overpowering scent. It's Magnolia times Vieschnarai. It was bred over 100 years ago, and it's a cross between Magnolia Sibylla, which we saw a little bit earlier, and Magnolia obovata, which we haven't yet seen because it isn't quite yet out. This is a much bigger flower, and a flower which stands upright on the branch, and the outer 3 petals are, or tepals as we should call them, are pink, and then the inside is white, and we again see the stamens which are covered in nectar, as you can see there, and the seed head coming up through. What you can't see is the intoxicating smell, and it's absolutely knockout. And a flower that has come out for a little bit, isn't quite as far out. Whoa, the smell is even greater. And then we find a bud, and even when you smell the bud, the scent is already seeping out of it, and that'll be a few days before that bud opens. So here you see Magnolia Vieschnarai as more of a multi-stemmed shrub, a bit bigger than Magnolia Sibylla, but also spreading with branches which come out and wave down. Again, not all the flowers come out at once, and as you look around you can see tight buds, flowers that are just opening, and flowers that are fully open. And there's one round here which is literally just opening as we look at it. And just look how delicately formed that is, and how intricately formed, and what a overpowering smell it's creating. This is a perfectly hardy magnolia, and it's grown for its scent as much as anything else, and for the fact that it flowers late in the season. I would say that this year these magnolias are normally out in mid-June, so it's probably a month early. Sometimes we've had cut flowers of this magnolia on our stands at Chelsea, but it's very hit or miss, and the flowers don't last that long, although even in the tents at Chelsea people stop and look round and say, where's that scent coming from? And Magnolia Vieschnarai is one of the obvious candidates. So this is our third magnolia to look at today, and this is Magnolia Summer Solstice. And again, the scent is overpowering. And again, we've got the three outer petals which are pink on the reverse and a large white flower. Now this is, however, a tree, and you can see that it's very different from the other two that we've looked at. It's growing into a tall, erect tree with a straight leader, and it flowers normally just at the end of May and in early June. And the original plant growing here was flowering away for several years before we even noticed it. It was growing in a very bad place, and it was up high. And one day we were passing by and smelt something extraordinary and looked up and saw a whole tree with flowers like this. And not all the flowers come out at the same time. Actually, this is a cross between Magnolia globosa and Magnolia obovata, and I think this is possibly, of all the ones we're going to look at today, I think this might be the best. And if we come round the tree, just look at these, look at these buds, and again, they're giving off large amounts of scent. If it wasn't quite such a windy day, you'd see flies and insects gathering round to fertilize these flowers and make sure there's a good crop of seeds. And just look through the leaves, which the wind has blown slightly, and just look at that lovely pink and white mix there in amongst the leaves. A wonderful plant, and something that's available from Caerhays now, but until people have seen it, and more particularly until they've smelt it, they don't realise how fantastic this magnolia is. This is our fourth magnolia for today, and a little bit more of the same, but this is a different species. This is Magnolia sieboldii sinensis, and its flowers hang down, and unlike sieboldii, its stamens are purple rather than being pink. And there's a furry indumentum on the edges of the leaves as the new growth comes out. And this is a very ancient plant, which, as you can see, has developed into quite a gnarled old trunk. Again, it's got a very spreading habit, and if you look back through the plant, you see it's quite floriferous. There used to be 3 of these small trees growing here, and 2 died of old age, and this one is probably about 100 years old. It was certainly seed that was collected in China by George Forrest and introduced into Caerhays, and here it is flowering away. It's all flopped into a rhododendron and into other trees beside it, but it's still flowering away with really big pendulous flowers. And possibly this may be the oldest plant of Magnolia sibyllii sinensis still alive in this country. Again, it has bright pinkish purple seed heads, which the squirrels love, so there's always a race to see if we can beat the squirrels to collect the seed. And so it's nice to think that we're still able to propagate one of the original wild collected Chinese plants, which is still alive and well here 100 years on. So the 4 magnolias we've looked at today are all a bit different, but they're all late flowering, and they're all closely associated with species directly derived from the wild, although one of them was a hybrid. Who said the garden was over by the end of May? Because it certainly isn't.